Pisses me off.
I know. Don't
Especially
worry.
the fact that I did it twice.
It's all good. No worries. No worries. I think we're live. I think we're live.
Well, because of the fact that I can't subscribe, I'm in a commercial right now. So.
Oh. Womp womp.
But I would say that we are probably live because I got a commercial. So.
Yep, nope, we're live.
But yeah.
We're live.
Yes, we are showing is live.
I forgot to turn the volume down on my Kindle. And I think we're live on Facebook as well. At least we should be. So yay to that. What's new, Matt?
Turn down
Update
the volume
your
on my
profile.
phone.
I don't want to update my profile. I don't like updating my Facebook profile.
Hi, Kaya.
Lady Death in the house. In the house. What up?
Yeah, people were loving her plaque at the show, but not one single person asked. Not
Really?
one single person asked about it.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
But they were loving it.
Yeah, you could tell because they kept pointing at it.
Ooh. Nice.
Carol!
Carol's in the house too. Yay. All right. We're going to get started. We got lots to cover. And very little time to do it. That's how we roll. So, I'm gonna do this.
Welcome once again to Avenger Pretenders. You have the geek,
Sully,
and the redneck,
JT.
They're going to review for you the latest coming out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Sully, it's all yours.
Well, yay! Love that new intro. Ha 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 ha. It's fantastic. Hello, everybody. I'm Sully. JT is sitting, well, technically to my left or right, depending on which way my swipe goes from me. Good old Granger, Indiana. And we're tackling episode 9. Episode 9 of What If, right here on Avenger Pretenders. And this one is titled, What If the Watcher Broke His Oath? And oh my lord, did he break his oath all right. Continuation from episode 8 of What If Ultron won. And wow, just wow, with everything that was going on.
It's one of them things that kind of falls in, for me, falls into the you got to do what you got to do category.
Oh, absolutely. And
you know, especially with what was on the line with it all.
And there was a lot. There was a lot on the line, especially with this episode.
Like the entire multiverse.
Oh, well, I mean, just to name a few.
Mm-hmm. And like Nakia says, if you have to break an oath, basically she says you might as well go all out.
Oh, without a doubt. You have to. You have to
don't
do
just
that.
break it. Don't just break it a little. You know, make it worth it. You know, make it worth whatever punishment you're gonna face.
Make it worthwhile, folks.
You know.
Make it worthwhile. And this episode, they made it worthwhile. They really did.
Mm.
And, you know, obviously, there's some Easter eggs in there. You know?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Not at all.
You gotta be kidding me.
But there's also some interesting things that happened during the episode that kind of bring stuff back to an extent.
Yeah.
So what we're gonna do is obviously we start off the episode with Peggy Carter infiltrating Batroc's ship, just like they did in Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That whole wonderful beginning of jumping out of the plane and landing on the ship and so on and so forth. And as she's fighting Batroc, she gets distracted. She gets distracted.
Nakia says, I yelled, oh shit, a lot.
You know, surprisingly, so did I.
I think that was, pretty much across the board.
So did I, and I liked it that way because
Mm.
it kept you a little bit in suspense, which was great.
Yeah. Yeah, this was definitely, and I can say this for Kay also. This was definitely a sitting up in your seat episode.
Yeah, yeah. Sitting on the edge of your seat and going, what's going to happen next?
Going,
What?
shut up, leave me alone, don't distract me. I don't want to miss anything.
Just blinders. I'm watching the TV. That's all I'm doing.
Hmm.
So, as Peggy Carter's fighting Batroc, Watu comes up and says, "You have been chosen."
And she's like, huh?
I love, and I know I've mentioned this many times, Jeffrey Wright is the perfect person to do the voice of Watu. The perfect person to do it.
Agree.
Because he just has that voice. He has one of those voices like Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm.
Morgan
Or
Freeman.
Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman. You want Morgan Freeman to narrate your movie because Andy Dufresne got away that day. That's Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright's going to be the next Morgan Freeman.
A mile of shit and came out smelling good on the other end.
Yeah. Lady Death says, love, love, love the voice, just like James Earl Jones. Another person you want to have narrating.
Except for his frickin' Arby's commercials.
Oh, come on, it's Arby's.
It's getting old.
Where's the beef? Just saying.
Not quite that old, but it's getting there.
So the whole beginning of the episode falls onto Watu recruiting members from every single episode that we've already seen. He's already gotten Doctor Strange. We know this because episode 8 ended with him. But Watu basically snatches up Peggy Carter first, Captain Carter, and then says, "We need you to fight against Ultron." And then he goes and abducts T'Challa. And he's in the middle of fighting Ego. Because from, the Star-Lord episode where T'Challa was Star-Lord, we found Ego. And T'Challa decided to go save him. But then we see Gamora. Mm-hmm. And we've only seen Gamora in passing in these episodes. And supposedly one of the episodes for this season was supposed to feature Tony Stark and Gamora heavily.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was a whole episode with the two of them teaming up and doing a whole bunch of stuff. Only they didn't finish that episode, which is why they're making it part of season 2. I found this out, I want to say over the weekend. But when he finally gets to all of them, I mean, he's basically telling them, you've all been chosen. You've been chosen.
You are the guardians of the multiverse.
Yes.
To quote.
Yes.
Watu. And Nakia says she loved how Watu said, "Not you, Stark."
Yeah. and that's the thing when Gamora and Tony Stark are forming the Infinity Gauntlet, Stark's ready to fight. Not you. No. You sit down.
Don't want you sorry ass. You go do what you were doing.
And then he abducts Killmonger as well, right before Pepper Potts and Shuri and the rest of the Dora Milaje are closing in on him in Wakanda. And he also goes and gets Thor, who's fighting Ultron in Las Vegas. So at least we know he's fighting Ultron, because in that episode he was fighting Ultron. We saw Ultron and his minions come out of a portal and start to attack the Earth. So they're taken, and we find them in a bar. And Lady Death, douchebag Killmonger, yes, but we'll get there. His character hasn't changed.
You get a little ahead of us there, Kai.
Yeah. His character hasn't changed much, which is good. So they're in like this bar. Peggy Carter realizes what type of bar it is. It's actually
It's
one
a
of the
pub.
bars from Captain America, where they were dancing, they were drinking in between raids and military outings, so on and so forth. So it was a very good throwback to that. And
It was a cozy little pub.
yeah, cozy little pub where instead of her on the wall, you had Steve Rogers on the wall, like all the soldiers, like
Right.
it was one of those things. Okay, so Watu briefs them on Ultron and what's going on in the multiverse and how he picked them all from different multiverses. Okay,
Yep.
and uh, I love it. Thor, good old bro Thor.
Yeah.
I I got to admit, with Thor, it was certainly a different take on him, and I
Yeah, it
like that
was.
take.
It was.
I like the take of bro Thor, the college Thor, the party animal, the frat guy. It's hysterical. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And Thor brought a Sentry head along with him, and Killmonger takes it. So now they're christened the Guardians of the Multiverse. And one thing I will admit is that Thor has been in a lot of teams.
Mm-hmm.
He teams up a lot. The Avengers?
Well, I mean, just because you can, shoot lightning out of your hammer and throw it around and it comes back to you, and sometimes you need help.
Well, sure, sure.
You know.
He's been part of the Avengers. In Thor Ragnarok, he was a Revenger.
Right.
You know?
Mm.
A
I
guard.
have to say though, I think that of all the groups that he has been in, and obviously it's kind of designed this way,
Uh huh.
this was definitely the ultimate group of fighters.
Mm,
I,
yes and
I,
no,
w-
but
I
we'll
would
get
say
there.
I would say it's the best.
Yes and no, and we'll get there. Because you got to remember, he was also part of the Guardians of the Galaxy, too.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's why I'm saying it is because he's got like the best out of all the teams that he was with, all brought together at one time.
Yeah.
And that's why I say that, but as individual groups, I would have to rate this one the best one
Okay.
because of the fighting ability and the attitudes of everybody that's in the group, other than Thor, of course.
Sure. Sure.
So just my thoughts. So,
Well, they all devise a plan to take out Ultron, and they have to figure it out. And Thor says, "Well, I'm good at drawing attention to myself."
yeah, he made that one comment. He says it was basically like we don't need to go find trouble. Trouble finds me,
Trouble finds me,
and that's
and
because he's a freaking show off.
yeah. So the goal was they needed to get all the stones, and what they needed to do first was get the Mind Stone. And Gamora had a device that would be able to destroy all the Infinity Stones, powered by the Soul Stone. The Soul Stone.
Yes.
So from there, they build their plan, and what was the device called? Do you remember? I think was it the Infinity Crusher, I want to say.
Infinity Crusher, I think it was.
Yeah, Infinity Crusher. Which, when you first see it, you're like, oh, okay, it's just a machine that's going to blow these things up.
And it looks like a little bit more of an advanced robot for going out and disarming explosives.
Yeah, pretty much. So, Watu transports them to another universe where there's nobody in it. They can't kill anybody. Ultron can't destroy things. Well, he can destroy things, but there's nobody in this universe. Which is good and bad, if you think about it. Because Now you have all these people misplaced from one universe to another, and you got
Right.
to lure Ultron there.
To answer your question, you are correct. It is the Infinity Crusher.
Yes, I remembered. Yes, that makes me happy. So here we are. We're in a new universe, and Doctor Strange. Oh, sorry, Supreme Strange.
Right.
Even though they called him Doctor Strange, he's putting protection spells on everybody because you just never know. You never know.
Well, it's a good thing he did.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
and
ultimately it's a good thing that he did because
yeah.
they got their asses kicked multiple times.
Oh yeah. Oh, without a doubt. Well, and you got to remember, he's wielding all the Infinity Stones,
hmm
and each
Except for one.
one.
Well, yeah, at that point, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had all the stones. So, accidentally, Thor draws attention to themselves a little too early,
Yeah.
and we see a lightning explosion happen, and all of a sudden, Ultron shows up. And Ultron is ready. He's ready to kick the shit out of them.
hmm
And boy, does
He's ready to basically he's ready to kill him.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, you
Yeah.
got to kill them because he wants to
Destroy.
take out Watu, the Watcher.
Yep.
So, so here we have the main team of Black Widow. We have Killmonger, T'Challa. We have Captain Carter, Thor,
hmm
Doctor Strange.
hmm
Did I say Gamora too? I think I said. Did I say Gamora?
No,
Black Widow,
but you
T'Challa,
you
Captain
just did.
Carter, Thor, Killmonger, Doctor Strange, and Gamora. 7. They had 7 people. That's bigger than the original team. Okay.
Right.
But they also had a secret weapon too. And we'll get into that. Because as Ultron's attacking.
Do you want to count the Infinity Crusher as one, or just
No,
just
that's a tool.
Side note. Okay.
That's a tool. That doesn't really count as a character.
Gotcha.
It plays its purpose. But one of the things that happens is Thor, and I have to say this, starts the fight with Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah, and I had to agree with Ultron on this one. That is the strangest battle cry I have
I've ever
heard. And also the dumbest battle cry that I have ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Viva Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
You should have done it kind of like an Alamo thing. Remember Las Vegas? I mean, then it would have at least been good.
So,
I mean, remember the Alamo was a good battle cry. Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah.
That's a party cry, not a battle cry.
No. That's they're going drinking. Come on.
But then again, it was Thor. So
Yeah. Well, it was Bro Thor.
it was definitely appropriate for the person doing the action.
Absolutely, it was. It was 100% spot on. So, as they're fighting, though, some interesting things happen. First and foremost, Thor and Strange do a little bit of a team up to bombard Ultron with a swarm of Mjolnirs.
Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah,
it was like he was being attacked by a hive of bees.
Yeah,
and the bee hive just so happened to create Mjolnirs and Thor hammers instead of actual bees.
Now the one cool thing I will say, and this is a callback to Endgame, was Captain Carter grabbed one of the Mjolnirs and was holding it, was wielding it.
Well, she used it to get her back to the platform that Thor and Doctor Strange were on.
Right, which was really cool.
It was cool. Along for the ride.
Yep.
It's like grabbing the back of the bus when you're on the skateboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The,
So
the Michael J. Fox and
there
Back
you
to the
go.
Future.
Back to the Future, just like in Back to the Future. It's the power of love. Here comes Carter. So that was really cool. But that was more of a distraction than anything. That was just so T'Challa can steal the Soul Stone, which he did. But
There's always a but.
there's always a but. Doctor Strange opens up a portal, and we see the Marvel zombies just falling. And I mean falling out of the sky.
Yeah, that was. I mean, that was friggin' amazing. That took me back to. Um, I think it was the first Avengers where they were fighting, and they killed the lead thing, and all this stuff started falling back to the earth through the black hole
Yeah,
or through the opening. Made me think of that.
which was really cool. Now, once that happens, they get the Soul Stone. Strange opens up a portal and they go back to Ultron's original universe. And the reason they do that is because, well, technically you have to destroy the Infinity Stones in that universe. Because otherwise, it's not going to happen. You're not going to be able to do it. So when they get there, Black Widow intercepts the Soul Stone, believing the Guardians to be Ultron's lackeys. Because she's the only survivor. She's the only survivor
Right.
on her world. Everybody else is dead.
Mm-hmm.
But then Captain Carter comes and saves the day and says, well, listen, Nat. And she called her Nat.
Mm-hmm.
We have a close friendship. We're BFFs. And she says that. She actually says they're BFFs. I believe the term would be BFF.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that kind of helps bring Black Widow, Natasha Romanoff, to the Guardians of the Multiverse. And let's face it, Black Widow really doesn't have any superpowers. She's just the spy. She's the one you
She's
don't
just-
want to fuck with.
Yeah, she's just a badass.
Yeah.
I mean, out and outright badass.
Badass woman. That's what she is. So she's on the team now. She's going to help destroy Ultron. And Ultron decides to come back and say, I'm going to kill you. But before he does, as Doctor Strange put it before he went through the portal to get back into the other universe, it's not the zombies you got to worry about. It's what comes with it.
Yeah.
And out comes the Scarlet Witch as a zombie. So she held her own as a zombie against Ultron. Held her own. Giving them time to escape, which is good. Everybody's together now. And then they fight for the Soul Stone starts.
And this, I mean, of all the fight scenes that we've seen, both movies and the series and all that, this has to have been one of the best fight scenes I have ever seen.
Without a doubt.
I mean, the ultimate. You hear the line. They lose the Soul Stone. The Soul Stone goes flying over to the side, and it's the classic. Who's going to get to the Soul Stone first?
Yeah.
And then you hear the line. Throw everything you've got at him. Don't give him a chance to think.
Yeah.
And it is the most badass, but yet the funniest fight scene from that point on, because he's just getting hit left and right repeatedly.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, worse than what he was getting with the Molnars.
Oh yeah.
Because he never knew what he was going to get hit with. He never knew where it was going to come from. And every time he started to have a second to think to fight back against one person,
Yep.
somebody
Another
else would
person
nail
was
him
hitting
with
him.
something.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he got hit by Captain Carter, the Shield,
So many times.
20 times at least.
Give or
You
take.
know, I mean, it was hilarious, but it was awesome at the same time.
Oh yeah, it was. It was, and that's the thing. It was one of those things where you had to do something like that.
I mean, I
If
was
you
laughing.
because if you didn't, the computer's going to outthink you.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he is. He's an artificial intelligence in Vision's body. He
And
is the guy.
I mean, he is the ultimate computer.
Yes.
But, you know, even computers need time to think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know, time to figure out what the attack is, and then it has to figure out, okay, how do we defend against the attack, and how do we attack after that?
Right. And
You
that
know,
was
and
one of the biggest things that they, I don't want to say they glossed over, because they really didn't. It was more along the lines of,
it was just a quick hit.
yeah, you had to keep hitting them.
Yeah,
And
and that's why, you know, don't give him a chance to think.
right, and
Bam.
he even got to the point where he tried to destroy the universe with only 5 of the stones,
Mm-hmm.
because the Soul Stone was gone. With Natasha holding on to the Soul Stone, Ultron basically tried to suck her up,
Right.
take the stone for herself. So now they're all going back and forth trying to. They're basically playing keep away with the stone. You know,
Right.
they really are, and Strange is just going at it against him. You name it, he's just boom. Trying to basically get Ultron off of his bearings.
Mm-hmm.
Like really, like you have to keep doing it. So with Ultron pinning the team down and like really kicking the team's ass, they finally get the Soul Stone, and Gamora grabs it and throws it into the Stone Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
And the Stone Crusher just goes right after Ultron, sucks all the stones up, and destroys them.
Well, the neat part was, you know, once they got the Soul Stone back and they got it into the Crusher, Strange threw out another spell, and they were all able to grab, you know, chains.
Yep.
You know, that and were able to get him down on the ground in order for the Infinity Crusher to be able to do its thing.
Yeah.
And, you know, watching those chains just come out of nowhere and everybody grabbing them, it was really well coordinated.
Oh, without a doubt.
It
was the team was working better than the Avengers.
I was just gonna say, you know, this is the best coordinated multi-point attack that I've ever seen in any kind of movie.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're dealing with 6 different six different outside elements as the other 6 members of the Guardians of the Multiverse, and you've got Strange, who is he's a constant. He was the one constant.
Yes.
And then you had the 6 outside elements and everything else, and it was just the ability to coordinate the outside attack plus the inside attack plus the counter attack from Ultron, and back and forth. It was just mind blowing.
And that's
really
the thing.
was.
It was mind blowing what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it really was, and it was to the point where we saw the Stone Crusher destroy the stones, and it was quiet after that, but
Big
not
explosion,
too long.
straight silence.
Yeah.
Just like after a tornado, you know. Really, really noisy, suddenly quiet.
Yeah. Well, that and, there was the issue of the Infinity Stone Crusher not working.
well, it worked. It worked flawlessly, actually.
Yes,
in that world.
It did, but
in that world, and that's the key. The two key words in that is that world.
Yes. Because we come to find out that the Stone Crusher was developed in Gamora's universe
Mm-hmm.
and will only work on the stones in Gamora's universe. It will
Yep.
not work on the other universe's stones. So now we see that since it failed, it basically allowed Ultron to gather up the stones once again. And that's a bad thing. Big bad
Yeah,
thing.
I
Bad, bad,
I
bad.
liked what he said when, as he revealed that he was still alive, when he says, I thought the Watcher would have told you.
I kind of liked his laughter. It was
Mm-hmm.
very evil and
Mm-hmm.
sinister. And I'm like, damn.
Yeah, that was a very sinister laugh.
Yeah. Uh, so, in order for Ultron to succeed, now he's pissed. He's pissed.
Well, I would be too.
Yep. So, who do you take out first? You go for the strongest one there is, which would be Doctor Strange. So he goes after him, and he starts trying to he's pounding him.
Yeah.
He tries
I
to
like
kill
the
him.
realization.
Yeah, and with that, all the other heroes, starting with Carter and Romanoff, they're blown away.
Mm-hmm.
They're thrown, God knows however far, but there is a turning point when it comes to this, and the turning point ends up being that when they land and crash and roll and do whatever,
Mm-hmm.
well, Natasha lands next to a certain arrow that has Arnim Zola in it.
If you think back
Yep.
to episode 8, what if Ultron won?
Yep.
They shot one of the scouts with it.
Uh-huh.
It did its job. It infected the scout,
Certainly
but
did.
it didn't infect Ultron because Ultron was off Earth. It was actually off universe.
Right,
So
when it
the
happened.
signal from the scout could not get to Ultron.
Right. Correct.
And the arrow got thrown to the ground.
Got thrown to the ground, so they decide to put Arnim Zola back in it and do what they need to do. And
I liked Black Widow's line
yeah.
about the sword.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. What was that?
I can't think of the exact wording of it. I love the line, and it's one that's been used a lot. Like you've got the hammer and I've got the sword, or something like that. But it was, hey, I need a clear target and I need space
Yeah.
or height. Was it height or space?
I think height
I think it was height,
part
yeah.
of it.
And it was just there were so many little lines that were said that if you didn't catch them, it would actually take away from
Yeah.
what you got out of the episode. And they were just quick drops. They weren't obvious hits and things like that. They were
Nope.
just subtle little drops, a simple little line that you wouldn't even think
Yes.
would have that much behind it. But in this case, the smaller lines, the little quick hits, had more meaning than any of the words that came out of Ultron's or Watu's or Doctor Strange's mouth
Yeah.
in the entire episode.
Yeah. And one of the things that they mentioned was they need especially with going up against Ultron, in order to win,
Mm-hmm.
Natasha needed to get the arrow to get through the armor, which was vibranium,
Mm-hmm.
and get access to Ultron. So what Carter did was Carter beat the living crap out of him, exposing his eye. So the helmet was broken off. You could
Pulled
see
that
the
one
eye.
helmet back.
Yeah, she just pulled everything back, and you could see everything. And at the same time, Natasha's on her bike, flying through the air, and pulls back the arrow and flings it right into his eye. infecting Ultron with Arnim Zola. And that was the best part about it. Because
And what did she say as she fired the arrow, as she let the arrow fly?
did she say for Clint? This one's for
Yep.
Clint. I think right.
This,
This one's for
this
Clint.
one's for you, Clint.
Yeah, this one's for you, Clint. And bam, right in the eye. So now you've got Ultron and Arnim Zola, two AIs fighting each other, which is a huge, huge callback to Avengers: Age of Ultron, where Ultron beat Jarvis.
Yep.
So that tells you something. They're paying really close attention to the details. And once they're done with everything, Arnim Zola finally destroys Ultron. He's gone, but
That was so anticlimactic.
it was well, yes and no. Yes and no.
I mean, there was to me.
Yeah.
It was so anticlimactic for him just to suddenly shut down and fall out of the sky.
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to remember.
It just no explosion when he hit.
Right.
They barely did a dust cloud when he hit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Such a major thing, such a major person in this episode, actually the last two. And, when he was exterminated, it felt empty.
Yeah.
To me, there wasn't much to it.
Which is where the next part comes in, though.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know the episode wasn't over.
Yeah, but at the moment, I'm just like, that's it? You just beat the ultimate computer/human thing in the world.
Yeah.
Well, in the multiverse. And all you got was a little poof of dust when you hit the ground.
Well, I mean,
on. But as it goes on, you understand why.
Yes, you do understand why, especially because Killmonger, who kept the Sentry head, uses it to call Ultron's armor to him, and is now in control of the Infinity Stones.
Mm-hmm.
So now we see some things where even Killmonger was like, we can fix this.
Yep.
He wanted to use
our worlds.
I will say this. He did want to use it for good. We can fix our worlds.
But for me, it is so hard to, and even though this is the second time we see him as a good guy.
Yeah.
Good
intentions.
So hard for me for my brain to accept the fact that he is a good guy. Even though the brain knows this is an alternate universe, this is an alternate timeline, it's still shutting it out and saying no, it just doesn't work.
Right. And you got to remember, Killmonger is still a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
He is still a bad guy. But what he wanted to do was for good, but we all know he had other intentions.
Well, of course.
It's Killmonger.
I know.
Come on. We all know he had other intentions in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But then we see something rise up from the ashes of the wonderful fall and the poof of dust, as JT put it. Where Ultron's body is now under the control of Arnim Zola, one of the most advanced AIs out there.
Yep.
And now the two of them are fighting over the Infinity Stones. And they're in a huge, huge, huge struggle. Who knows what's going to happen? And let's face it.
It was one of those, you had your chance, now it's my turn.
It's my turn. No, it's my turn.
No, it's my turn now.
No, it's my turn.
The other guy had the chance. I took over him, so now it's my turn.
Yeah. Well, Doctor Strange takes it upon himself to form a pocket universe, so to speak, in a little bubble, where the two of them are pretty much stuck. They're stuck. They're frozen in time. They're frozen in
in
space.
an,
They're
in an
fighting over the
eternal
stones.
battle between each other.
And there is pretty much no way to win. No way whatsoever to win. And within that pocket universe, Uatu transports Doctor Strange back to his pocket universe, his jail cell, so to speak, to keep an eye on them.
Yep.
And I mean, he basically took that upon himself as his punishment. I destroyed my universe. I'm going to sit here and I'm going to watch these guys forever because, well, someone's got to do it.
Yeah, and it was really cool that Watu recognized his sacrifice of doing that.
Yes, he did.
You know, he's like, and your sacrifice.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that was cool. You know,
It was. And
I mean, he could have just said, well, you owed the universe anyway because you destroyed your world.
right. But
So,
he didn't.
you should have done this anyway. Kind of thing.
Exactly. So now we're back in Vegas.
Echo just comes in and says, I'm only here for a moment to say,
Vegas.
Vegas!
Well, you're not wrong. We were talking about that over the weekend too. Vegas. So now we're at the point in time where they're back in the pub. They're talking about going back to their own realities and how Watu will transport them as soon as they walk back through the door to the moment in time that they left. So they'll never remember what. Well, I don't think they would never remember. It wasn't that they would forget, but it was.
They would think it was a dream.
Yeah, like it was a dream
Kind
that
of thing.
they had experienced or something like that. And one by one, they're going back and they're going back to their own universes in their own time, and they're doing what they need to do, and life goes on. Except for one. And that's Black Widow. Natasha Romanoff does not have a world to go back to. She is the only survivor on her planet. And it would be pointless for her to go back. And she even says that. Why?
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there. I've got nothing. Everyone I know is dead. The world is dead. Ultron destroyed it. And Uatu says the coolest thing. And this is where things change. This is where things change big time. Uatu says, it just so happens that I know another universe that lost their Natasha Romanoff.
Yep. Well, and what was something else that happened that was pretty cool to me was when everybody was going back and they were they're just like, okay, yeah, let's go, boom, and they go back to their worlds.
Right.
Natasha wasn't the only one that wanted to change the world that they were going back to. The other world was Captain Carter.
Yes.
She wanted to, she wanted to go back to a time where
she was able
Rogers,
to save
where
Steve
Rogers was still alive. She was able,
Yeah.
would have been able to be with him. And there, the Watcher said another really neat thing is that your world needs Captain Carter
in the present day.
Yeah, and that just that line made her okay with what she was going back to.
Yeah.
And she's, she gave Romanoff one last look and see ya. Walked into her world.
And
I thought that was a really cool way to tie that string up.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. Big Tank says, well, I ain't seen shit since the first episode, but I'm here since my Tuesday is going to be odd for the day. Yeah, it's going to be odd, but how could you not have watched the episodes? What's wrong with you? Watch them.
Yeah, now just because I actually watched these episodes, Tank, doesn't mean that you can take my place and not watch.
Yeah, what the hell?
You know, we seem to have done a little role reversal on on this
Yeah,
one.
absolutely. So,
Tank, I think you would enjoy it if you sat down and actually marathon watched it. You know, they're
oh
only
yeah,
30 to 40-minute episodes. There's
it's
only 9 of them.
yeah. There's
You know,
9 episodes. You could
you
binge
know,
it in one
three and
day.
a half hours.
Yeah,
You know,
you can
you
binge
know,
it in one day. Couple of hours. We'll say
4 hours,
6 hours.
4.5 hours.
4.5 hours total. You can watch
Yeah.
it. So there you go. As Carter is back and we see her, back on the ship, they say that they found something in the underbelly, and it's interesting. It's interesting because what they find is the Hydra Crusher suit,
Hmm.
and there's somebody in it.
Yeah, because it was who the hell was it that took her down there?
Natasha Romanoff, her Natasha Romanoff,
Okay, okay.
which there, and we'll get into it. We'll get into it in a minute, but they basically found for they basically found the Hydra Crusher suit that Steve Rogers
Right.
wore, and there was somebody in it, which they don't say it's Steve Rogers, but you kind of do the math that it's Steve Rogers that's in it. So that'll be
Didn't she
interesting to
say
see.
he's still in it?
Yes,
Okay.
or he's in it. It's a possibility. We'll know more next season because supposedly they're supposed to with next season. I mean, listen, the outcomes are endless when it comes to what if. They really are. You could do this could go on for seasons upon seasons if it wanted to.
Hmm. Oh yeah. And that was the purpose of it.
Yeah.
Was, to get people to realize that there are so many possibilities of the way things
Yep.
could go.
Yep.
Just one little thing changes and it's spirals off into
Mm-hmm.
a whole nother thing.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely. We see basically everybody going about their lives. We see Carter doing her thing, finding the Hydra Buster suit or the Crusher suit, whatever you want to call it. We also see T'Challa and Peter Quill joining forces to fight Ego. We see Gamora and Tony Stark reuniting. We see Jane Foster with them in their realities. And then we see Natasha and what's happening. We see a bird's eye view of the helicarrier, Nick Fury and his new Avengers with Captain Marvel and Captain America. They're fighting off Loki and his minions on the helicarrier. And Natasha from the destroyed Ultron world comes in, kicks him in the head, takes the scepter, and controls him.
Yep.
Easy peasy.
And I love Nick Fury's line.
Oh, wasn't it great?
After she gets Loki under control,
Yep.
and all of a sudden, he gets knocked down, and bam, he lands right in front of her.
Uh-huh.
And he looks at her and goes, "I know you're not my Romanoff,
Mm-hmm.
but you're just as badass as she is." Basically.
You have her spirit.
I mean, I loved the line. It was
Yeah.
perfect. And I'm sitting there, I'm going, okay, how are they going to do this? How are they going to immediately integrate her into this? Because they had to do
Right.
it instantaneously.
Absolutely.
And they found the perfect way to do it.
Yeah. And
You're not my Natasha. Yep.
and this
I love
opens up a lot of new doors.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of new doors this opens up. Because if you think about it, and this was the coolest thing at the end, after, everybody's doing whatever they're saying, Watu reclaims the nexus of all realities. That's where he is, so he can watch it. And I'm going to quote this. He says,
Ooh, another quote.
He says, "That's it, isn't it? All creatures searching for a place to belong, to call home.
Yep.
As for me, I am the Watcher. The multiverse, every single world, every single story is my home, and I will protect it to the end.
Yep.
That, to me, says a few things. One, we will see Natasha Romanoff back in the MCU, even though she took a dive in Endgame. It'll happen, clearly. He can replace people if need be. That's number one. Number two, don't be well, you know what? Yeah, don't be surprised if you see Watu in either the Eternals or Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, or even in Spider-Man. It can happen. It can happen. You might even see him in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. We're going to see him again. I guarantee it. Guarantee it. Lots of Easter eggs and lots of callbacks.
I seem to recall in a couple of the movies, I don't know which ones it was.
Mm-hmm.
But I seem to recall a couple of times where there were a couple of stars.
Yep.
That shine just a little too bright.
Mm-hmm.
And they were always the same distance apart. You know, and I just, the mind flashed to that when you made that comment about him, you know, showing up in one of these movies.
Yeah.
I have the feeling he's already been there.
Oh, yeah.
He's been in these movies somehow because it's just,
you saw
the representation.
But they were in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Mm-hmm. Well, I haven't watched that one.
Dude.
I haven't watched that one yet. It's just, I wasn't really that crazy about the first one. You know, it was good, but it wasn't something that I was like, oh man, I gotta watch number 2.
Oh, I loved it.
But it just popped in my head about, you know, the stars. There's been several times in movies that I've watched that you've just had those 2 stars that just seem to be a little bit too bright.
Yep, absolutely.
You know, and it makes you wonder if that was a representation of him that maybe we didn't know about.
I guess we'll find out, won't we?
The thing that sticks out, I don't want to get this in before you get into the eggs and everything. The thing that sticks out to me the most about this whole thing is what was the story that they didn't finish in time, and how would it have fit into this whole timeline thing?
We will get that answer next season.
Yeah, I know, but it's, you know, the mind, you know, my mind and how my mind works. And it's like, what could they have been doing?
Well, part of it was
10th
COVID.
episode that they're able to translate over into the second season.
Yeah.
It's like,
that was apparently, that was supposed to, from my understanding, if I remember the article correctly, there was supposed to be another episode between What If Ultron won and What If the Watcher broke his oath.
Right.
And that was supposed to be the episode with Tony Stark, Jane Foster, and Gamora building the Infinity Crusher and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Is it true? I don't know. I'm sure they've kind of rearranged things and changed it and did whatever, but it's still a story that they can use.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to see. Now, we are starting to run out of time, so I got to go through the Easter eggs real quick. There was a lot of nods to Captain America: The Winter Soldier. From the conversation with Natasha and Captain America talking about their dating life, they replicated that with Captain Carter, which was amazing. Because that's how much they stuck to the detail. Then, of course, the soldier lost in time. That was a not just a big line in the original MCU with Captain America and the Avengers, but they made it into this one as well. So, really, really good callback to it. Guardians of the Galaxy 2, in this episode, they show Ego expanding, just like they did in the movie, which is why you should watch it. um, just putting it out there. You really should. Because you see the exact plan that Ego is trying to do, basically become a virus and be everywhere, where everything is him and nobody else. So T'Challa coming in and freeing Quill and doing whatever he needs to do, he helps destroy Ego, and we're good with that. Gamora joining the team. Like I said, this is a possibility that this could be scenes from that lost episode where they just said, "Hey, we're gonna recruit you and be done with it," or we're gonna see that next season. Who knows? The right. with Thor. Thor makes a callback to episode 7 of him having a date. He has a wonderful date lined up that he's going to be late for. And, of course, we mentioned it earlier, the pub, which, is a callback to Captain America, the first Avenger, where they were sitting in the pub and doing whatever they needed to do in order to make plans, have drinks, and have fun. And Doctor Strange replicating Mjolnir. I know we mentioned it because it was a big part of the episode. That is a callback to Infinity War, where Doctor Strange replicated himself, which is a huge, huge spell that is used in the comics so many different times. So many different times. So it was a great callback to that. And then, of course, them pulling something from every episode up until now, including Scarlet Witch and the zombie episode. And that was really, really sweet because it was the perfect distraction for them. And then, of course, the Hydra Stomper. That's the name, the Hydra Stomper.
Yep.
Whew. Man, I think I got it all. Maybe. Maybe. And then, of course, we have one hero that the Watcher rejects, and we know who that is. That was Iron Man. Not you, Stark. Bad Stark. So,
love that line.
All in all, we're going to do our 2 ratings. First rating is, JT, what do you give this week's episode of What If Stars? Question marks. What if question marks?
For the episode?
Yes.
Only? This entire show I've been fighting between a 4 3/4 and between a 4 3/4 and a 5.
Yep.
Because I mean this episode was the topper on so many levels.
Oh yeah.
Just all the references to the old movies, and I know I didn't catch them all. I know that. But the ones that I did catch really stuck out. The fight scene was, part 1 was amazing. Part 2 of the fight scene was freaking unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And everything. So I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to give it a 5. I'm going to give this episode a 5 because it's the only episode of all of them. All of them got me up in my seat, but this one got me up on my seat, on the edge of my seat, and literally pushing dogs off. Go away, go away, go away, and not taking my eyes off of the screen because I didn't want to miss anything.
Okay, all right.
So I'm gonna give this episode a 5.
Wow.
I'm not a 5 anything guy.
I know. I'm impressed. Jay, this was what, your first 5 for the
second 5.
Second 5 for this which that's total.
Second 5 for Avenger Pretenders.
Yes,
as a whole.
So you got 3 total, right?
No, 2.
2, and they're
I've
both
given
with Avenger.
One other 5, and and that was in Winter Soldier.
That's right. That's right. I'm going to give the episode 4 3/4.
Just like Nakia.
Yep, 4 3/4, just like Lady Death, and mostly the reason is I kind of wanted to see more. You know, I wanted to see more. Not just with Ultron falling to the ground and everything. I kind of wanted to see more of the conflict between Arnim Zola and Killmonger. You know,
Right.
just a little bit. It was just like that, just that little piece that I think.
I love how they left that though. Like it was like you were looking at a trophy on a shelf.
Yeah,
Yeah. As the light hit the ball just right, and you could see them. That was cool.
yeah, and for me, that was one of those things where I'm like, yes, they're gonna fight. We're gonna see them fight. Oh man. So I'm gonna give it 4 3/4 question marks. Still a great episode. So in the end, what do you give this season? How many what if question marks?
For the season overall, I would have to give it 4 3/4.
Okay. Alrighty.
And to be honest with you, the only thing that could have made it a 5 for the whole series would have been if there would have been a big boom when Ultron hit the ground. Overall, the series was amazing. The writing in it, the graphics in it,
Was amazing.
the special effects, top notch, all the way down the line. I mean,
Yeah.
Hulk exploding, Thanos getting cut in half.
That was fantastic.
The ultimate fight scene of all fight scenes in the world. In episode 9, it was good across the board. Once they got rid of the political shit after the first couple of episodes,
oh yeah,
they took it up a notch. That just pushed it above Wanda. It pushed it above Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and all of that. So it was great. I would sit down and binge watch it.
Yeah. Oh,
Even
without
though
a
I've
doubt.
already seen most of the episodes multiple times,
I'll rewatch
I
it.
would actually sit down and binge watch the whole thing.
I'd
so
rewatch
4 3/4 for me.
Yeah, I'd rewatch it. No problem. No questions asked. I'd rewatch it. I will have to agree with you. 4 3/4. I thought it was very well done, aside from the political BS. But we've all mentioned that. We mentioned that the first 3 episodes were meh. Once it started getting into the coolness of what was going on, absolutely, I will do that. 4 3/4, hands down, for the overall season 1.
Yep.
Of What If. Obviously, we know there's a season 2. It's going to be coming.
So real quick,
Yeah.
what is the anticipation level for season 2 for you?
Oh, it's high. It's high up
we'll
there.
We'll go on a scale of 10.
On a scale of 10, I'd say 8. Yeah, I would
Sitting
say
right about the same place.
I would say an 8 for season 2, only because I can't wait to see exactly what they're going to do with it, with all the movies coming out in Phase 4. You know?
Exactly. And I mean, even without the movies, even if you remove the movies, just the possibilities that they've set up with this first season,
Yes.
with all of the things they did, and they have so many more characters that they can work with.
Oh, absolutely.
They've got they got Clint that they can go with. They've got freaking an alternate world for the Hulk that they can go with. Where what if Banner can control the Hulk from the start?
Oh yeah, which will be
or something like that. So the possibilities that are out there, notwithstanding
it's endless.
the stuff with the movies and everything. It's just the anticipation level is definitely up there for season 2.
Absolutely.
Not quite as much as waiting for season 2 of Mandalorian,
but
it's close.
Which will be coming. It'll be coming.
Yeah, but not soon enough.
No, not soon enough. But I guarantee you we'll probably.
By the way, Nakia gave the overall score for the season at 4 3/4 also.
There you go. There's our secretary right there. 4 3/4. So we're right there for the whole season. Guys, this has been Avenger Pretenders Season 1. So what we're actually doing, was it version 3, right? Version 3. It's
Yes.
not Season 3, it's version 3, because it's the third show we're actually doing for What If, Marvel's What If. And we will be on a little bit of a hiatus, at least I want to say like maybe 2 or 3 week hiatus for Avenger Pretenders, because as Big Tank just said in our chat room, Hawkeye will be coming out in November. So we're getting there, folks. Hawkeye's coming out, and we've got more shows still in development over at Marvel. And of course, in between that, we've got the new Star Wars shows coming out too. Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian Season 3. So maybe JT and I will do like a special Star Wars edition of Avenger Pretenders where we talk about Season 1 and Season 2 of The Mandalorian and just kind of do like a recap of the whole thing so we can get into Season 3, which I think will be really, really cool. And it'll give us some more content. So, you've been listening and watching Avenger Pretenders right here on Accidental Punch TV. Make sure you download the podcast at anchor.fm/The Sully Show. And don't forget, The Sully Show will not be live tomorrow. However, I stress the however, I may find a way to do a live stream of the Best of show that was supposed to air when I went on vacation in the summer. So, there may be a live stream tomorrow night anyway, starting at 8, of the Best of Sully Show. So,
and before we close things out, I do have one quick announcement that's going to blow your mind, but I will talk to you about it after we're done.
Okay.
I regret to say that Shout Out with JT is going to be put on permanent hiatus.
Okay.
Until further notice.
Yeah. All right, then. Not a problem. Not a problem at all. So we will see you next week for a live edition of The Sully Show. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you in November when Hawkeye comes out for version 4 of Avenger Pretenders, recorded live Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/Accidental Punch. Have a good one, everybody. And we are going to do a raid. We're going to do a raid. Lady Death says, what the hell is wrong with tomorrow? I actually have to DJ tomorrow night. I can't go into details live on the air, but I do have to cover for another DJ. So, has to happen. It's all good. No worries. But, like I said, if I can get a live stream going, it's going to be awesome. Gonna be awesome. Maybe I'll go live in the morning and just put it on loop.
There you go.
Put it on loop. Started at 8 a.m.
Whatever you want.
Started at 8 a.m. and just let the video loop. That'll be great. All right, let's see who is live tonight. Let's see. We're going to do a nice little raid. Give some love. Let's see here. You know what? We're going to raid Eric the Red. Right? Eric the Red? Oh, wait. Maybe not. Oh, yeah, nope. He's still there. Eric the Red. Eric the Red TV. That's who we're going to raid. Looks like he is playing a game called Divinity Original Sin 2. So that should be interesting. Make sure if you are a subscriber to the channel, Big Tank says no Groundhog Day shit. I might just do it. You never know. Might just do it. So, again, when you go into the chat room for Eric the Red, make sure you use Punches Unite with the Accidental Punch logo on the front and end of that sentence. We will see you guys next week for The Sully Show. That's right. Next week for The Sully Show. So, we'll see you guys later. Bye. Just waiting for the raid to go. Because the raid hasn't gone yet. But it will go. I promise it will. Because it'll go. Nicole says bye. I say bye.